Attention passionate Washington Commanders fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC East and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Washington Commanders' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Washington Commanders fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with YOUR, FRINDS and Washington Commanders FANS. Let's get to the news now, folks, buckle up. Because what I'm about to tell you is something that's causing quite a stir not just among fans, but also within the NFL community. It's about the Cleveland Browns and their current quarterback situation, but more specifically about Shedeur Sanders, the young QB who's been turning heads since he stepped onto the field this preseason. If you've been following the NFL, especially the NFC East, you know that every little move, every snap, and every decision can ripple through the entire league. And right now, the buzz is all about Sanders and where he stands on the Browns' depth chart. So let's set the scene. Cleveland has been making some interesting moves this offseason, trying to shake things up after some inconsistent seasons. They've got a veteran in Joe Flacco, a seasoned guy with a lot of playoff experience, and then there's Kenny Pickett, who's still young but has shown flashes of potential. Dillon Gabriel, a promising young quarterback, was also in the mix. And then there's Shedeur Sanders, the star who just finished an impressive college career at Colorado and has been getting rave reviews in training camp and preseason. Now, the first thing that jumps out, and this is what's sparking all this debate, is the way the Browns have set up their quarterback depth chart. They released their updated list at the start of the week, and guess what? Shedeur Sanders is listed fourth, behind Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dillon Gabriel. Fourth, that's right, after all the hype, after all the buzz about his talent and potential, he's still sitting behind three other quarterbacks on the official depth chart. And let me tell you, for a rookie or a young player who's been making waves, that's a tough pill to swallow. But why is this happening? Why is Shedeur Sanders, a guy many NFL analysts and fans believe has the talent to eventually be a starting quarterback in the league, being kept down at the bottom of the depth chart? Well, it all boils down to experience and development. Joe Flacco, with his veteran savvy, is seen as a good mentor for a rookie. Kenny Pickett, despite being second on the depth chart, has already had some NFL experience and is considered the future for the Browns. Dillon Gabriel, too, has been in the league for a bit longer and has shown enough to warrant a decent shot at starting. Shedeur, on the other hand, is still very much in the developmental stage, and Cleveland's coaching staff might be taking a cautious approach, trying to ease him into the NFL pace. But here's where it gets really interesting, and where the fans start to get fired up. The preseason games are a big part of this puzzle. The Browns are preparing to face the Philadelphia Eagles in their upcoming preseason matchup, and speculation is swirling about who will get the start. It's a huge game for Shedeur Sanders, an opportunity to showcase what he can do against NFL-level defenses. Yet, the latest reports suggest that head coach Kevin Stefanski hasn't officially named a starting quarterback for that game. And this is where the controversy kicks in. Many fans, especially those who have seen Sanders' highlights, his arm talent, and his ability to make plays under pressure, are furious that he's still listed behind guys like Flacco, Pickett, and Gabriel. Social media has been ablaze with reactions. Some fans are livid, calling this blatant disrespect. They argue that Sanders has the talent, the arm strength, the accuracy, and the football IQ to be higher on the depth chart right now. They believe that putting him behind veterans who might be on the roster, just for experience or mentorship purposes, doesn't do justice to his potential. Others are saying that it's just the natural process. Rookies need time, and the Browns are taking the smart route by letting him develop behind a veteran. But the overwhelming sentiment among many NFL fans is that Sanders deserves a shot to compete for the starting role sooner rather than later. And it's not just about the fans' opinions. NFL insiders and analysts are also weighing in. Some suggest that Sanders' ranking could be a strategic move by Cleveland to keep his confidence high while not rushing him into a starting role that might be too soon. Others believe that if Sanders performs well in the upcoming preseason games, especially against the Eagles, he could climb up the depth chart quickly. The key point here is that this is a developing situation, and the NFL landscape is always shifting. Now, it's important to remember that preseason depth charts are often fluid. Coaches like to keep options open, test different combinations, and see who performs best under game conditions. But the narrative that is emerging is about the perceived disrespect towards Shedeur Sanders. Fans see his talent and believe he should be given the chance to prove himself sooner rather than later. Whether Cleveland will indeed give him that chance or stick with the veteran route remains to be seen, but the fact that this debate is happening at this level shows how highly regarded Sanders is already in the league. Let's also consider what this means for the broader AFC North and the NFC East race. The Browns have been trying to rebuild their quarterback position for years, and with Deshaun Watson's recent struggles and inconsistency, they're certainly looking for a spark. Sanders, with his college production and arm talent, could be that spark if given the opportunity. Meanwhile, the Commanders, who are eyeing their own quarterback situation, are watching closely because they know that young talent like Sanders can change the game overnight. A rising star on the Browns could shake up the division, and that's why this story isn't just about Cleveland's depth chart, but about the future dynamics of the AFC North and the NFC East. Now, for the Commanders fans listening, it's worth noting that the NFL's landscape is in constant flux. Teams are always looking for that next young quarterback who can develop into a franchise guy. Washington's front office has been patient, but they're also aggressive when it comes to talent acquisition and development. If Sanders continues to impress in preseason, it's entirely possible that the Commanders might face a scenario where a young, talented quarterback like him could be in their division down the line. That's the beauty of the NFL. Every move, every decision, can have ripple effects for years to come. And speaking of the Commanders, they're entering this season with high hopes. They've made some key additions in the offseason, trying to build around their core and develop a more explosive offense. The defense is also looking solid, with some promising young players stepping up. But the quarterback position remains a question mark. Do they have a young gunslinger waiting in the wings? Could someone like Sanders, if he gets the right opportunity, be a future rival or even a future teammate? The NFL is full of stories like that, where young players burst onto the scene and turn the league upside down. As we look ahead, the preseason is crucial. It's a time for players to showcase their skills, for coaches to evaluate talent, and for fans to dream about the possibilities. Sanders' journey from college star to NFL prospect is one of the most talked about stories this offseason. His potential is undeniable, and while the current depth chart might not reflect that, don't be surprised if he climbs up quickly once the games start and he proves himself on the field. The NFL is all about opportunity, and young talents like Sanders thrive when given the chance. So, as we wrap up, I want to remind you all that this story is still unfolding. The Browns' decision to keep Sanders at fourth on the depth chart has sparked a lot of debate, but it's also a reminder of how competitive and unpredictable the NFL can be. Young players like Sanders are the future of the league, and their journey is just beginning. Whether he ends up as a starter for Cleveland, a trade target for another team, or even a future rival, one thing is clear: his talent is impossible to ignore. The NFL is watching, the fans are talking, and the story is far from over. Remember, the preseason is just the start. The real games are where legends are made, and Sanders could very well be on his way to making a big impact this year. For the Commanders fans out there, keep your eyes peeled because the league is watching, and the future looks bright with young stars like him emerging. So stay tuned, stay passionate, and keep supporting your team, because every season is a new chapter, and the next big story might just be around the corner. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUB algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this situation with Shedeur Sanders and the Browns? Do you think he deserves to be higher on the depth chart right now? Or do you believe the Browns are making the right move by developing him slowly? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Commanders. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Washington Commanders news. The NFL season is just around the corner, and every story, every move, and every game counts. So keep your passion alive, stay engaged, and let's see how this story unfolds together. Thanks for watching, and until next time, go Commanders!